Hey there, guys and girls. Now, this video's a long time coming, I guess. A lot of you have been asking me on Twitter, hitting me up on YouTube messages, when is your Mass Effect Andromeda video gonna come out? Your final thoughts. And I took some time, I played the game twice already, and I went back and played some of the original Mass Effect trilogy, and here's the video. So I've completed Mass Effect Andromeda to the fullest of my ability. I got as many cryopods and AVP, the Andromeda viability points, as I could. I ground to the top of the level ladder, which for me, I didn't do a game plus. I did new games for separate characters, so I only got to, I think, 50, but I know you can get up to like 70 and 80 for some of the weapons you have to unlock. I opened every hidden cache I could, I mined as much resources as I could, I researched and built as many weapons as I wanted to, and armors, and other stuff that you can build that you find throughout the game that I could. I dropped all the forward stations available, I ground out scanning all the planets on the entire Andromeda galaxy, and the rocks that you have to do for the scientist. I found all the data pads I could, I dug up every Angaran relic, not relic. I don't know where that one came from. I got a spiky girlfriend, so I went with Vetra for my one playthrough, and I went with Cora for my other one. And I shot just about anything that came across my face. Now, what does this mean? It means I did every side quest, every random encounter, every main mission to the fullest, but due to some bugs, either the missions weren't recognized that I finished them, or they were recognized like way later when I would turn in another mission, and I couldn't finish it at all, but that was not a fault of my own. And this is also after the E3 Anthem reveals, BioWare Montreal being absolved into Motive Studios, and BioWare finally announcing the partial shutdown of the game, leaving only the multiplayer alive. So there's likely going to be spoilers. Duh. So this is your warning. That being said, these are my final thoughts about Mass Effect Andromeda 2017 from BioWare Edmonton, Montreal, and Austin. Now I'm gonna go, if you haven't seen my previous video about Mass Effect, there's a lot of points I hit on there, and I will link it right here somewhere on the screen. But I'll also do like a continuation of that video. So these are the things I noticed as of last week. So there's no more patches. I'm recording this September 5th. 2017, so there's no more patches. All the stuff is already gone. Well, there's no more patches for single player. So things I noticed after all the patches is the load times at first, when you first load the game, I've been playing since day one, were super long. Now they're crazy, now they're super short, except for the first one and when you first load in and start up the game, but I always expect games to have a long load time when you do that, because it is just crazy to expect a game to load in super quick on your first run when you're in. It's like Skyrim. Skyrim always takes a buttload of time when you load in right then, but then after that all your transitions and stuff aren't so bad. But your game is super quick, like I said, in-game. After Gadara, I started to experience some weird stuttering in places, and it was both times, it was right when I got to Gadara, and I'm not the only one who had this problem. One of my friends, Zabin, had this problem, or at least I think it was Zabin, where once you got to Gadara, the game started to like really spike and lag, and I don't know what it is about that certain section and beyond of that game. The previous couple hours, I don't know how many hours it was, before you got to Gadara was completely fine. There was, you know, some stuttering because it was before the patches, or it was minor stuff, but once you got to Gadara, it was like the game did not like that. A lot of the traveling stuff between where you would enter the wormhole to warp can be skipped, or traveling between planets can be skipped, and I thought that was actually really nice, because I would spend a couple hours before I got into the game and just go and scan planets to knock that achievement out of the way. I can't even remember if I got an achievement for that. Whatever. I found that the additional tasks, like not the main missions, not the loyalty, all that, the additional tasks were the buggiest missions out of the entire thing, for me personally. Other people might have had different issues. They weren't marked as complete, or they appeared complete at a later time when I would turn in another mission, i.e. Ones I had problems with were the Ghost of Promise, or is it Prodromos? I can't remember the name. Earn your badge. That one turned in almost like 5 hours later for some weird reason after patches. And that's just to name two off the top of my head. I can't remember. Though newer patches have fixed them, kind of. I don't know. The only mission I couldn't complete were the remnant data cores, but those are easy to miss once you get into the vault, and once you activate the vault you can't go back in and get them, so I missed, I think I only had 4, and I think there's 8 you have to get, so that was the only mission that I, due to my own not knowing where the cores was able to miss them, because most of them you have to run back as the vault's activating to get them, and sometimes I just couldn't do it. One thing I will say about the whole game, and this is for a lot of my friends know me, I am not politically correct. You guys know that if you're watching this channel either. Not politically correct, so some people may get a little bit butthurt about what I'm gonna say, because this was a big controversy when the game was first announced, and as I talk about this you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. The whole game is diverse, and I was disappointed to hear people losing their mind about Cora being straight, like a character in the game, or how you couldn't change the outfits that they were wearing like you could in Mass Effect 2. Just a small color shift is what you could do. But I also get it. But the game is full of diversity. On EOS, there's a trans character who you receive missions for. Actually, they were doing the voice actor was one of 2 roles that people could audition for in their Mass Effect Explorers voice. You guys know what I'm talking about if you saw it. There's also different kinds of relationship. There's interspecies relationship, there's same-sex, there's heterosexual, there's everything in between kind of relationship. So while it may not be up to some people's high standards, as we saw with Dream Daddy, how people were freaking out about some of the stuff there, there's still a lot to be praised in Mass Effect Andromeda. And another way to say it is BioWare is not afraid to embrace everybody and anybody. BioWare, I've met some of the people from BioWare. One of my best friends, sometimes I am on stream with him. He used to work with BioWare. He knows a lot of people from BioWare, and he's like, yeah, they embrace everybody. And you can see that in their games, guys. Everybody from Dragon Age's Krem, who is voiced by my favorite voice actress of all time, Commander Shepard, Jennifer Hale, Commander Shepard, the female version. I'd also like to state that they didn't have to give us any romance options or any diversity. They could have locked us into a choice, as many other games do. Not only relationship-wise, the game is diverse with people of faith, like Suvi. Suvi is very deep in her faith, and it's kind of inspiring to talk to her sometimes. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I do like other points of view, and I'm not going to shut my brain off to other points of view. The Angara are extremely faithful too. They believe in reincarnation. And sometimes you need to deal with faith-related missions, like in the cases of Glory Seekers on Vold. I'm not going to spoil the mission, but it is a good mission you should come across if you should come across it. Jesus. What I do like, a little nod to the previous trilogy, is on Kadara, you come across a random encounter in a little building with an Asari, a Solarian, and a Krogan inside. And after investigating, you find 2 scientists further away in another little shack. Turns out they're 2 former Cerberus operatives, and the scientists are mind-controlling the 3 people you met earlier. And they talk about Miranda, they talk about Cerberus, the Elusive Man, and Project Lazarus, but they never mention Commander Shepard by name. Nobody does. But you do have 3 choices on how the mission ends, and I love that they mentioned the previous games. Another mission is defeating the hacking groups, and they're talking about Project Overlord. It's a DLC from Mass Effect 2. I don't know if it's a DLC. I think Project Overlord is a DLC from Mass Effect 2. I would also recommend that you try to do as many side quests as you can and do all the ally missions. There's some things that won't make sense without the extra information you'll get in those missions. Not saying that the main missions are lacking, but just, if you want the game to be better and you want to understand. It's like if you do Ryder's Complete Memory mission. You'll understand a lot more of the game and what's going on, and it unlocks some stuff that you're like, what the hell is going on? Something's missing here. You gotta do as much missions as you can. Dialogue choices matter. And not just in romance, but talking to everyone. For example, Sloane Kelly would be a good person to base this off of. If you get hostile with Sloane, She will cut off access to the mission where you help the Moshai to get information. So dialogue matters, and certain applications and options will cut off conversations with other people or further conversations with some people, but you don't know until you do it. And sometimes that involves saving and then going back. Like, for my purpose, I will call Eladin the main planet and the other ones her moons, but I know that's not the case because Eladin is not the biggest planet. She is one of the moons. I know that. But when you first fly in and you see the spacecraft and the space everything just and the beautifulness of Eladin, it, like, putting it into words doesn't make it justified. You guys, if you've seen it, you know what I mean. Just when you fly in, that first fly into Eladin is something completely beautiful, and be like, oh shit, this is Mass Effect. This is what Mass Effect is about. It is beautiful. You can look up at the stars and go, yep. They've done the skyboxes, they've done the environment well, I will say that. Something that was annoying, and the one thing that was completely constant throughout the entire game, was Sam's temperature alerts. Dear Lord, Sam, please stop. Another issue that didn't happen as often but was annoying when it did was the door to the Tempest sometimes wouldn't open. And this is like my last video when I said sometimes I would walk up to the doors in certain things and they just wouldn't open. But the doors in Tempest wouldn't open. It was either like thinking or processing, and it would keep scanning me like the bioscan, but then it wouldn't go away. So I either had to walk down the hall or go to a different door and come back, and it was just like, okay, now we'll open. But it happened more often than I would have liked it to be. But it's like, is this happening or not? Like, what's going on here, Tempest? The soundtracks for both the cabin music and the OST are amazing. The cabin music is a mix of deep bass and ambient house music, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I'm writing things or studying, I will have it on in the background and I'll be like, yep, okay, bopping my head along, okay. I often found myself in my room looking at emails, even though I know I could stay at the console next to Subi. And once I finished the game, I looked up the music to go to work with. The game is perfect, and the OST is a mixture of epic orchestral music and space opera symphonies. If you watched the Space Odyssey 2001, is it? You will know what I mean. There's grand music there. Just listen to it. Give it a listen. It is pretty on point, and they're always perfectly timed and emotion invoking. A pro tip I can offer anybody who's about to hop in is scan everything. Seriously, scan everything. Even if you already scanned it, scan it again. You'll get points somehow. I don't know how it happens. Whenever you stop, just get out of the Nomad, or you're just walking around, just scan. It works. Don't ask questions, just scan. Or sometimes it'll ping on something you didn't even know was there. When you're driving, one of my favorite things, in the Nomad, and the squad members will make comments about either a site you should stop there, or their general banter and dialogue is hilarious. And sometimes they'll have deep conversations that are just like, oh, you want to drive around a little bit longer, not get to where you're supposed to be, just to hear what they have to say. But if your teammates and squad mates make comments like, oh, we should check that out, stop there. They're either hinting at there's a mission objective there, a scannable item, or other goodies there that you have to pick up. I've made the mistake of driving by a lot of these on Vold and had to spend a lot of time backtracking to finish quests. So make sure you stop when they go, oh, that's a good place we should stop, because they won't do it unless there's something there. The game has several previous nods to the previous trilogy. Like I said, there's the Cerberus Scientist, and them talking about Commander Shepard's Project Lazarus. There's Miranda and such. There's also a nod to Mass Effect 3 on Kadara. In Mass Effect 3, there's a Solarian scientist who, when you're on Surkesh, I think, who you repeatedly ask you not to push the button when you're just there, and like, please stop pushing the button. Please stop pushing the button. You guys will know what I mean if you've seen it, or I'll try to find it somewhere. On Kadara, in the caves, when you come across the Collective Outpost, there's a Solarian, and he working and tells you not to push the button. It's a hilarious interaction, kind of like the one in Mass Effect 3, and he keeps going like, if you push the button, you're gonna electrocute the people in the next room, finally saying it's broken for your curious mind. It takes 28 button pushes to complete this interaction in case you're curious. I sat there and pushed the button 28 times. Yes. There have been a few patches to fix the story glitches, I said. Unlock customization options like hair and different tattoo options. There have even been even though the customization options still aren't up to Dragon Age standards, but I feel like Dragon Age is worked on by Bioware Edmonton a lot. Well, I mean, they both worked on them. All the studios worked on, but it's like Bioware or Dragon Age is worked on by a different team than Mass Effect was. Because the customization in Dragon Age Inquisitions, at least, is amazing. The eyebrows, the horns. Although I wish there were more options, it certainly had more options than Mass Effect Andromeda did. And it improved the combat a little bit. The patches also balanced out the multiplayer. The multiplayer had some big issues with everything just being overpowered, just dominating. The game is hard, I'm not gonna lie. If you're paying attention, yes. But I'm starting my third playthrough on hardcore, and the game is freaking hard, and it's testing my skills, and I don't have that many skills to begin with. You guys know, you watch me play Overwatch sometimes. I cannot play anything to save my life. The one thing that did bother me was the final mission. This is a spoiler. You don't actually fight the Archon, which is like meh. Okay, I don't like it, but it's still, it's just like, ugh. You battle waves of Ket-controlled Remnant, and a giant architect opens a relay, and you have to cut the power to the Archon, and then that fries him and kills him, and then you help your sibling, and you have no access to Sam. Well, that's one small chunk of the final mission. I think the final mission's like 45 minutes, but it's still like, oh, I wish I could have shot the dude myself instead of electrocuting him to death. It wasn't a satisfying ending, but it wasn't an easy boss fight either. And a nice little nod to the whole Bioware franchise is after the final mission. As you're going through your emails, people are emailing you to like get better and all this stuff. You have emails from V. Tethris, which is Varric, or Varric, however you want to say it, from Dragon Age. He says, I'm going to write a book about this. And they also have, he's a series storyteller from Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. You also have emails from Seahawk, who is Carver Hawk, and he's all sassy. Carver's just a broody Nancy, whatever you want to call him. He's just oof sometimes. He's from Dragon Age 2, and depending on your character, he either lives or dies. There's emails from Anders, who is an apostate mage from Dragon Age 2, saying how let's blow the roof off this place, as he does in Mass Effect or Dragon Age 2. There's a lot of emails after defeating the Archon. Each of them have their own little Easter eggs in them. I'm pretty sure some that I didn't recognize. I recognized a lot of the Dragon Age ones. There's also mentions at the end, well, at the beginning and the end, but it's not mentioned in between. There's mentions of the Kunari. Why did I say Kunari? Ooh, I obviously want to go play Dragon Age. The Quarian, Hanar, Elcor, and other species are in trouble. Species arcs are in trouble. So for the next game, we will be getting maybe Tali. Well, not Tali, because she's with Matt Shepard. But we will get the Quarians, the Hanars, the Elcors. Who else would there be? The Batarians, the Drell. I was about to say the Asari, but no. We were with them. Things that did bother me at the end were we had a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe it was just like me not understanding, or maybe it was the game leaving it really open-ended for either DLC or the next game. Who are the Jardin? Who are they? The Angaran builders. The Angaran and Remnant creators. Who are they? Are there series like space jockeys and stuff from Alien? Who are the Ket? Where did they come from? Which galaxy are they from? What about the one Ket who betrayed the Archon? Are they gone? Have they gone back to the galaxy? Are they regrouping? Are they coming back? When can we wake up Mama Ryder? Another spoiler. Is she going to be better? Are we going to be able to slow her disease? What about Sam that stops the Remtech from hurting you when he's interfacing with you? What does he do? Who's the benefactor of the entire Andromeda initiative? Somebody was paying the bills. Who is it? What happened to Gian Garson? We know she was murdered, but what else? Like, who did it? Maybe that's me missing something, but I feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions. I don't know. But I do love that they brought back ship collecting. I looked hard, but I did miss a lot of ships, unfortunately. I think I only have 6, maybe. So, my final thoughts. Overall, the game to me feels like a grown-up, but not really grown-up Mass Effect game through and through. There's no questions about that it feels different from the Commander Shepard era games. It looks the same, but it feels completely different. It feels more serious at times, which honestly I like, but there's also some good one-liners and good jokes in there, like when PB is telling the crew how she wants to stay and asks everybody to help clean her room, and Liam's like, I'm going to make ice, and Vetra's like, I'm going to help Liam make ice. Zhal's like, oh, it's an Angaran holiday, and everybody just splits off. That for me had me, maybe I was very tired, but it had me rolling. Just that little interaction was so cute. And there was some other comedy moments, like when you're watching the movie with the crew, that whole moment is adorable. It was the best. Was it the best game ever that could have been produced? Honestly, no. But did it deserve the panning it got? To me personally, no, it didn't deserve it. And EA agrees with me. Although the day I'm completely on the side of EA is the day that you'll have to bury me, because you guys know how I feel about EA. Just sometimes they are tops and sometimes they are not. But whatever. That's a video for another day. They could have let the franchise die, but they didn't. And I'm happy about that, because at least there's more to come. EA has hinted on not letting the series die, and knowing EA, they will milk this Mass Effect horse until the last dollar. The story was good, but it wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be, but it was solid. Like I said, there's too many questions at the end for me to be like, it's completely satisfying. It was solid. It wasn't finished. But you can see where they left holes for DLC or to further in the next game. But I feel like a lot of things suffered from this. It could be also contributed to the newly announced Anthem by BioWare. This game was for sure not perfect, and you could see where the A-Team went. They went to Anthem instead of focusing on Mass Effect, and it's funny. 5 months later, Mass Effect Andromeda was supposed to be delayed, or 3 months supposed to be delayed, and it probably would have fixed a lot of the issues and shored up a lot of the things and complaints people had with the game, but EA said no, let's release it. And look at where we are now. You could also see the voice acting was solid. I fell in love with Vetra, obviously. My little Twitter love spree with Danielle, the voice actress for Vetra. I often tweet at her and telling her I love her, and she tweets back saying, I love you too, thank you. But it's just, the voice acting was solid. I was a fan more of Sarah's voice acting than Scott's, but that's just personal preference. The animation after patches was well done, especially in cutscenes after patches, I must say. I do love the crafting system of the weapons, augmentations, and you can really customize stuff in vast varieties. Now I'm going to go a little bit off script here because we're at the end of the video. Mass Effect Andromeda didn't deserve the hate it got, personally, to me. It was not the best it could be. I can fully agree with that. I'm going at this with a non-biased view, like you guys know I like to do when I talk about games. It struggled in places where it shouldn't have, especially graphically wise and story wise. It's if you can pick it up for cheap, do it. I paid for the deluxe edition because I am a Mass Effect hoe, and even if the game was complete shit, I probably still would have paid for the deluxe edition. Ugh, that's just me. Don't even get me started on Assassin's Creed. But it's a good game. Is it the best game? No. Is it worthy of the Mass Effect title? Yes. Does it feel the same as the previous games? Yes and no, because it's like a old car with a new paint job. Everything's there. is just new crew. I feel like sometimes there wasn't enough time or enough dialogue within your crew to grow super attached to them. Like, there's some I just was not attached to, whereas in almost everybody in the Normandy, I felt fully attached to. The game is good. It might be different for some people, but if it's your first Mass Effect game, I don't think you're going to have a huge problem with it. But if you've come from the series, or if you're playing that and then going back to the series, I don't know how you feel. You guys will have to tell me in the comment section below. But I know Wayne, the average gamer, this was his first Mass Effect, and I was like, how is it? And it's, it's to each their own. Basically, I guess is what I could say. So before I keep dragging this on, get Mass Effect if you can on sale. Don't pay the full price for it, as heartbreaking as that is to say, because I know BioWare's not struggling, but EA will use any excuse to shut a studio down. Look at EA's history. They've shut down, oh god, gotta be over 20 studios that they've bought and shut down over the years. So buy it, play it, and tell me what you guys think. And tell me what you guys thought. Are my thoughts too nice? Too harsh? Too La La Landy? Tell me. And tell me if there's another video game you would like me to review, play, or anything you would like to see me stream and stuff. And see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.